So in this episode, we're going to give you our top tips directly from our quick start guide to Hua Hin Thailand to make sure that your first time there is smooth and stress-free.
So welcome back. We're Joel and Michelle, and we've been full-time slow travelers since 2019. So arriving in a new city or country can be really exciting, but it also can be really overwhelming. We just spent 3 months living in Thailand, specifically Hua Hin. And in this episode, we just wanted to go over some practical information so that you can hit the ground running when you get to Hua Hin, Thailand.
As fellow full-time travelers or even remote workers, which is something we do a little bit with all of our activities here, we completely get how crucial it is in order to get somewhere and get settled in quick and easy. So you're not sitting there trying to figure out and decipher like the grocery situation or like how to get around or which ATMs aren't going to like overcharge you and much, much more. So our goal for these guides is to help you acclimate as quickly as possible so you can spend the most quality time in each destination. So there's no need to take notes because all of our tips and suggestions we'll be sharing with you in today's episode you can actually find in our ebook, where we go into a lot more detail, including all of our recommendations and resources that will save you time researching so you don't have to go down a YouTube rabbit hole. You can find links in the description as well. Oh, and also before we get started, later in this episode, we're going to be sharing a discount code that you can use for this or any of our other quick start guides.
We're going to start with some quick facts about Hua Hin and also Thailand. So Hua Hin is located about 3.5 hours southwest of Bangkok on the coast and is the Gulf of Thailand. Hua Hin is actually a popular beach resort town. The king, I think, visits there, and then also a lot of locals vacation there, I think, from Bangkok. And then there's also a large expat community, mostly Northern Europeans, think some Russians, Ukrainians, and then also British. And the population of Hua Hin is about 60,000 full-time residents. And then for Thailand, the currency is the baht.
Also, another thing too is that as far as electrical outlets and things like that, what's really cool is they have these outlets that take both your standard North American and I think even Japanese two-prong outlets, but they also take the European two-prong style as well. So really easy, so you don't have to worry about bringing any additional adapters if you're coming from those two areas in the world.
So as of right now, Americans and Canadians and also a lot more countries get a 60-day visa on arrival. But as of us filming this, it looks like Thailand is going to be dropping that down to 30 days. So just make sure that you check before you visit.
And also note, you still can extend your time there. You can do another 30-day extension as well. Or there are some other visa options if you're wanting to stay longer term in Thailand too. So now as far as visiting Thailand, there's of course, you might know already, Southeast Asia is hot and it's humid. So if you're sensitive to that, you might be most interested in visiting in their high season, which is actually the winter time. And that runs basically from November through basically the end of February. Now in that time too, you do need to also be aware that there is the burning season that happens. And typically that's more in the northern part of Thailand. But as we found out, it covers even down into the middle and central part of Thailand as well, which is where Hua Hin is. And so we were even dealing with some of the burning season. So if you're sensitive to respiratory things like that in the air, then you might want to consider, take that into consideration before you decide to go down there. Another thing you want to know, of course, is how to stay connected with your phones. Basically, you can get local SIM cards there, and the easiest way to do it is just go to the 7-Eleven. But if you do that, be sure to make sure you bring your passport as well as cash only, because they only take cash for loading the cards. Another option though, if you don't want to have to use your passport or you want to pay with cash, is you can use an eSIM. Now we've used quite a few different eSIMs. In fact, we use a lot of them, kind of testing them out in all the different places that we go. And we actually had no problem with eSIMs there. We got really good connectivity on the 2 or 3 that we ended up using.
Next up is how to get to Hua Hin. So we would say the easiest way is really to fly into Bangkok, and Bangkok has two international airports. There's the Bangkok International Airport. That starts with an S. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that because it's a really long Thai word, but you can look that up. And there's also another international airport as well. And then from there, you can pick up a shuttle, you can get a taxi, you can take the train, and then also a bus. So we've taken the train, and then also mini buses, and then a coach bus, and back and forth from Hua Hin to Bangkok. And they've all been relatively easy and also very inexpensive.
And also, another important thing is how to get around when you're in Hua Hin. And the great thing is there's a lot of options available. Probably the easiest option that we found is ride shares, and there's actually a Grab is a popular ride share in the area, as well as Bolt. Both of those are quite affordable and very easy to use the app to just order it. Usually just come in just a few minutes. So also you can do the public songtios, if I'm saying that right, which are otherwise known as the bot buses. And they're basically like pickup trucks that are like with a covered back and a couple benches where you can kind of like, people just kind of like jam in there. They usually get pretty crowded, but they're very cheap. I don't think maybe 15 or
10 or 15 baht.
Yeah,
I think.
super cheap.
Yeah.
And those basically run up and down the length of the city. Another option, of course, is the tuk-tuks, and those are like the little trikes that you see everywhere. Those mostly run at night, but you can find them during the day as well. And they're going to be a little bit more expensive, we found, than say like ride shares, honestly. Of course, if you're interested in taxis, they've got those as well. Or you can do what we like to do mostly, which is just good old-fashioned walking. You can get around pretty easily. To walk from one end to the other is going to take you quite a while, maybe over an hour, actually more than an hour for sure. And also another thing to note though is if you're walking around your neighborhood or what have you, there's not a lot of sidewalks, especially off of the main road. The main road that runs along the beach down in Hua Hin is really the only place that has like the longest stretch of sidewalk. So you have to be really aware of your surroundings. So, because you're dodging cars, you're dodging other people, you're dodging motorcycles, tuk-tuks, just all sorts of stuff like that.
So the main areas to stay in Hua Hin are going to be north up by, they have a small airport up there. And then also the main town, which is basically from the kind of the big fishing pier all the way down to the Tamarind Market, which is the area where we stayed in and is the most central area. And then also down by the Tong village. Hope I said that right. But yeah, those are kind of your three main areas that you'll want to take a look at.
Also, if you're looking at like banking, currency exchange, and all of that, the currency code for Thailand is THB, and like we mentioned already, the currency is the baht. You're going to look at about, as filming time, it's basically 33 or 34 baht per dollar. So the easiest way to figure that out is just multiply it times 3. So 100 baht is about $3. Also note too that credit cards are not accepted in a whole lot of places, so it's mostly going to be cash centric. You can find a lot of grocery stores that will accept them, and even the 7-Elevens will accept them too, but a lot of times they're going to have a limit. We found that mostly you have to spend at least 300 baht or just under $9 in order to be able to use the credit card machines. And also ATMs, they have ATMs like all over the place. There's a couple different banks. I think there's like 4 different banks. They're pretty much color coded. And we've had no trouble using those ATMs. There's a lot of them aren't even attached to the bank, and they're perfectly safe to use too.
Next up is food, so groceries and dining out, which is one of our favorite things to do.
Well, the dining out.
The dining out,
the eating of the food.
Yes, when we go to different countries. So the main grocery stores are going to be Lotus, Big C, Tops, and also all of the various 7-Elevens. You can order groceries through the Grab app, which we did, and it's super convenient. There's tons of restaurants as well in Hua Hin. There's cafes. The Thai food is amazing. I think that was probably one of the highlights for us visiting Thailand is the food. We never really got tired of eating Thai food, but there's plenty of other options as well. There's pizza, there's pasta. You can get hot pot, there's Korean barbecue, sushi, and then our absolute favorite is the Korean fried chicken.
Yeah, I know it's not Thai, but it's really good.
There's also two kind of main night markets that a lot of tourists go to, and that's the Cicada Market and the Tamner Market. And that's a really good way to kind of just get like a taste of everything, or kind of acclimate yourself to a lot of different dishes. You can go and, just try a whole bunch. Eat your way through the night market.
And also, speaking of like nightlife and bars and all that kind of stuff, again, there's a lot of nightlife there. We've said before, it's kind of an expat retirement kind of place. So you can find all kinds of bars, like regular bars with lots of music. Actually, you can find music pretty much everywhere, especially in the winter season. But there's also the other kind of bars too that you might be familiar with Thailand, the kind of the bar girl scene too. So it's kind of a mix of both things. Other thing is night markets, like Michelle talked about. Those run pretty much Friday through Sunday, and they also have live music at a lot of them as well, which is a really nice treat. Additionally, there's two different malls in town, and both of those malls they set up like beer gardens with food stalls and everything, and more live music, especially in the winter months. And if you're interested in coffee shops, there's a ton of coffee shops too. Everything from kind of like local kind of coffee shops to kind of like expat style coffee shops as well. And again, if you're working remotely, kind of like we are, then you're probably gonna be spending most of your time either in your accommodations or in one of the coffee shops, because there's really only one co-work that we found, and it was kind of in the southern part of the city, not as convenient to get to. And then sometimes it would close, so you kind of never know. So now, before we get into the last couple of tips, thank you so much for making it this far. We do really appreciate that. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. Also, give it a like. It really does help out a lot. And of course, as we promised, we would give you a special discount on our Hua Hin Quick Start Guide, and just use the code NOMADIC15. And that'll give you a 15% discount off of this guide, as well as all of our other guides over in our store. We'll leave links in the description. Additionally, if you're wanting to start your slow travel journey, you can get this guide as well as literally everything else that we've got, and exclusive videos and articles, all to help kind of you with that process in our Nomadic Abundance membership. Additionally, you'll get direct access to us where we can answer questions a lot quicker. Also kind of get our updates, raw thoughts and everything about all of the stuff that you really can't talk about on YouTube, the good and the bad, as well as like kind of behind the scenes of everything and of our daily travel lifestyle.
Next is medical care, and we know a lot of people are concerned about that. So there are a couple hospitals in Hua Hin. There's public and private. There's also highly rated medical clinics if you need to go to and get health checkups or if you get sick. And there's also decent dental care as well. And there's tons of pharmacies that you can go to. And Joel was able to get some of his prescriptions filled just over the counter, and they're happy to help you. Most of them do speak English. If they don't, you can just use Google Translate. Yeah.
Now, of course, other things to do in Thailand. Hopefully you don't have to go to the hospital from an injury from doing something fun and outdoorsy. But there's a lot of like hiking opportunities in the area. Of course, the beach is a huge draw. There's a really huge beach there, with some pretty big tide swings too. So you can like go way out. It's kind of interesting. But other thing that's really cool is if you're into kite surfing, there's a ton of kite surfing there, especially in the winter months, because there's a really good sustained breeze. So we just enjoy just going out to the beach and going for walks and just watching people like learning how to kite surf and everything like that. So that's really cool. Also, if you're into monkeys, you can go down to Monkey Mountain, which is just a fun little like day trip that you can do. It's at the end of, or the southern part of Hua Hin, and there's actually monkeys there. So you can actually go and look at them and watch them, you know, pick things off of each other's butts and stuff like that, you know. So I don't know. I filmed some of that. I thought it was funny. But also golfers, there's tons of golf courses, like 8 different golf courses, and they're all really highly rated. So if you're into that, again, you know, like I said, it's also partly a retirement community, or, you know, there's a lot of retirees there. So of course you're gonna have golf. And then there's also like a water park for families, and the Kowtow Reservoir also has some more walking trails and things. And that's actually where they also did the lanterns, lit off the lanterns and stuff, like when we were there around New Year's and everything like that. And then also another fun adventure to do is going down to the Khao Samroy Yacht National Park. And there's a couple things you can do down there. We actually did a cave trip there. We went to the Praia Nakhon Cave, or Praia Nakhon Cave. In fact, we have a video about that if you want to check that out, where it was kind of a brutal hike, but it was really cool to see this cool pavilion, like with the light in the middle of a cave. It was pretty awesome. So that's the end of this episode. We really hope that you got something really good out of it. Again, if you're interested in the guide, get your own copy, then you can easily just check the link in the description to download that. Also, if you got any comments or questions, like if we missed something, or if you've been to Thailand, be sure to let us know in the comments.
Yeah, because we really loved Thailand and had a great time there. So yeah, let us know if you've been to Hua Hin or if you're thinking about going. And we will see you next time. Happy wandering.
That's right. Happy wandering. Hey, if you're planning a trip to, if you're planning a trip or even full-time traveling, you know how daunting and planning a trip or traveling full-time can be quite daunting. But don't worry about that, because in this episode, we're going to give you some of our best tips on...
Next up is how to get to Hua Hin. So the easiest... Okay, sorry. Blah.
Sorry. I didn't mean to do that.
That'll be a blooper. As soon as I was going to say, you just burped.
Sorry. It just came out.
Oh.